Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a fascinating case study on the anatomy of trust in international manufacturing. Specifically, we're going to break down exactly how CSG acts as an absolutely essential, independent verification partner for businesses operating in Egyptian industrial zones. We'll be looking closely at the source material to see how you can actually guarantee supply chain security when you're literally thousands of miles away from the factory floor. Okay, here is a quick rundown of our agenda. We'll cover the value of trusted eyes, comprehensive services and audits, multi-industry nationwide coverage, the 6-step inspection workflow, and finally, actionable deliverables and standards.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, the value of trusted eyes, building the foundation of reliability.
The source material drops a massive brand promise right out of the gate. Trusted eyes, verified results. And in import logistics, that is the holy grail. You absolutely need a proxy looking out solely for your interests. This profile really frames the company not just as some administrative partner, but as your direct, unbiased line of sight into the manufacturing process.
And honestly, these core value propositions act like a heavy-duty shield against operational disaster. We're talking about mitigating serious risks here. From rapid inspector deployment to full-on digital reporting, they've got it covered. The heavy emphasis on independent verification is key because it completely removes any conflict of interest. Plus, deploying inspectors with multi-industry expertise means the actual person checking your shipment truly understands the exact nuanced tolerances of your specific product.
Moving right along to Section 2, comprehensive services and audits, the arsenal of quality control.
So, let's talk about DPI, or During Production Inspection. This isn't just corporate jargon, it's an incredibly proactive strategy to verify specifications while the machines are actually running. Say a machine's calibration is off by just a couple of millimeters. Well, if you wait for a final inspection at the very end of the line, you might end up with 10,000 totally unusable units. By deploying a DPI, inspectors are right there, actively monitoring the lines, catching that tiny deviation early, and potentially saving massive amounts of time, money, and raw materials. It's a real game changer.
Looking at this service breakdown, you can really see the strategic balance here. On one hand, you have immediate tactical product inspections, things like verifying materials before production starts, checking goods midstream, evaluating the finished batches, and overseeing the actual container loading. But on the other hand, the audits take a much wider view. Things like supplier assessments and social compliance checks verify that a facility actually has the ethical labor practices and operational capabilities they claim to have. This protects your brand's reputation before a contract is even signed.
All right, Section 3, multi-industry nationwide coverage, your footprint in Egypt.
Geographically, we are talking about some serious reach. The coverage spreads right across Egypt's northern coast and down through all the key industrial arteries. We're talking from Alexandria and Port Said near the major shipping routes, all the way south through Cairo, Giza, and Beni Suef. Having this physical footprint across major hubs and ports is exactly what enables that rapid deployment we talked about earlier. If a last-minute issue pops up in Sadat City, their network is built to mobilize nearby professionals quickly and get eyes on the problem.
But having people everywhere doesn't mean much if they don't know what they're looking at, right? That's why the source highlights their multi-industry expertise. Think about it. Assessing the load-bearing tolerances of heavy aluminum profiles requires a completely different technical vocabulary than inspecting the delicate packaging of fresh fruits and vegetables. By deploying personnel who are specifically qualified in these sectors, they ensure that your exact compliance standards are strictly enforced no matter what it is you're manufacturing.
Okay, let's get into the mechanics of how this actually happens. Section 4, the 6-step inspection workflow, the machinery of trust.
Think of this workflow as a completely closed-loop system. It all starts with the client submitting their specs, which immediately triggers the assignment of a specialized inspector. The real magic happens on-site at the factory, followed by a meticulous verification of quantities and workmanship. But here is the really crucial part. Once that detailed report is delivered, there's an optional follow-up verification step. This ensures the factory didn't just nod their heads, but actually implemented the required corrective actions. Which brings us to Section 5, actionable deliverables and standards, the final proof.
Because, let's face it, a simple pass or fail grade just doesn't cut it anymore. The deliverables here go way beyond that. You get an inspection report paired with high-resolution photo evidence, so you can literally see the production conditions and packaging quality for yourself. Combine that with crystal clear nonconformity findings and highly practical corrective action recommendations, and you suddenly have a complete map of exactly what is inside that container before it ever hits the water. And all of these deliverables are held up by some seriously strict professional commitments. The organization heavily stresses independent third-party verification to keep things totally objective. They also use consistent methodologies, meaning an inspection report from Alexandria is graded on the exact same metrics as one from Damietta. Plus, they highlight strict data protection protocols, which is absolutely crucial for keeping your proprietary blueprints and designs secure.
To bring it all together, the source material wraps up by offering direct access to the CSG EG leadership team. Founders Amr Kassem and George Nazmi personally oversee business development and inspection operations. It's set up this way so that your inquiries are handled directly by the very architects of the quality control system itself.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. As global supply chains get increasingly complex and consumer expectations keep skyrocketing, the era of relying solely on a factory to self-report is completely over. True supply chain resilience requires objective, independent verification. The question isn't just about how you inspect your products anymore, it's about how you structurally manufacture trust across continents. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer.